to Hustle and Strive, the podcast. It's your girl, Anissa, back again with the homies. What up, Ryan, Kevon, and Ari?
What's up, man?
What's goody? So we're on a mission to collect all the keys in the universe right now. But these keys aren't just regular keys. These are magical.
Right, like the Infinity Stones.
Infinity keys.
My fault. Infinity keys.
That's good. It's like not Thanos, but Rhinos.
Oh my god.
Hey, now she said it right, so when I start saying it,
all I'm saying is we're on a mission to collect all the keys so we can
started something crazy, y'all.
We're collecting all the keys to make sure that we're the most successful in our life, right?
Yeah.
So we've been talking about all of the things. So social intelligence, reading the room, thinking long game. We're going to continue on this path of thinking long game and how substances can affect us in thinking the long game just a little bit more. But I really want to tap more into anxiety, mental health, and that last one, having emotions and feelings and things like that. So it's super important to me to be heard, especially with my friends, with my parents, just with people. And that comes with learning how to say those things that I'm feeling. I think oftentimes, like we talked about earlier, we oftentimes react before we have time to sit back and think about what our next move is going to be. And sometimes that does come in the form of, if this is available to me, substances, for example, then let me just try this to cope with whatever I'm dealing with. So me being able to vocalize what I'm feeling before resulting to that has become a major part of my life. Do you guys feel like you have safe spaces to, other than this podcast, do you feel like you have safe spaces to share the things that you're feeling? And do you feel like you're heard in sharing what you're going through? Go ahead, Kevon. You look like you're itching, friend.
I had to. I gotta hop on this one. Look, man, because I don't mean to
shake the table.
Separate. You know what I mean? But look, like, I feel like as a man, like a lot of times I'm not allowed to feel, right? I feel like society has set me up as a man to be numb, you know, and a lot of times when things happen in my life that I don't always like or I don't plan for, sometimes they make me want to go find a way to be numb, you know? So it's easy to fall into things like drinking and smoking when you always feel, when you kind of feel like you've been set up to not feel, you know. It's not about numbing, but really feeling what life is giving you to actually be what you want to be.
Yeah. And also I use this reference of like pouring from an empty cup, because I think we'll exert so much energy people pleasing and showing up for other people that we put ourselves last. And so making sure that we are consistently filling ourselves up to make sure there's enough for us while also being there for the people that we love. Ryan, the same question for you. Do you feel like you are provided safe spaces to vocalize what you feel, what you like doing, without being slighted for having feelings?
I would say, yes, I have safe spaces to where I could talk about my feelings. Like when I'm not feeling some type of way, I could definitely come to someone I love and talk about it. But in general, going back to what Kevon was saying, you know, as a man, you know what I'm saying, you can't really be doing that in public, you know. It's just something that society has painted. Like, men are supposed to be strong, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you having a bad day, you just have to play it off like you're okay, to try and be strong for everybody else. And sometimes that is overwhelming, I guess you could say. But I never really understood why it was like that. And
the correlation in between being strong and not feeling is highly detrimental. It's very, very, very counteractive. Like the whole concept of it. It takes a lot more. It is an outlet, but it takes a lot more to bury something deep than to get it off your chest. You feel me? It's more strenuous. It takes a lot longer to get over, and you're not fully getting over it. You're just suppressing it until you pop, and that's not helping nobody.
But as I get older and grow, I think I'm moving along, and I was okay, and I know how to better process my emotions now.
Yeah. My mom, one thing she always told me is that feelings buried alive never die. And so speaking up about, like Ari said, instead of just burying those feelings, it's easier to get them off your chest. And so I appreciate y'all for sharing your perspective on having feelings. I think having feelings, being emotional, also translates to anxiety. And unfortunately, I have lost a few friends along the way who weren't thinking long game, who only could see as far as what was right in front of them. And that resulted in, them taking their own lives in different circumstances. And it's just so unfortunate that it took that for them to, release the pain.
That's what I was really asked. Like, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
This is maybe not a question for y'all because y'all don't agree, but I just don't understand the concept of, if you're supposed to heal, you're supposed to be strong, how are you supposed to heal if you don't even get past the first step to healing? You can't heal from something you're not addressing.
But you know what, too? A lot of people aren't given the tools. Like, I think we come into life with a toolbox. And I think that it starts, maybe depending on your situation, you have some tools already in there. Some people have none. And so I think that our life journey teaches us that just like we're collecting these keys now, we're supposed to collect these tools or keys for the sake of hustle and strive that help us identify those triggers earlier. And so the person inside of me is just so grateful because I was able to identify the keys. I was able to have community around me who allowed me to speak openly like this. And to just talk about what I was feeling, because had I not had that set of tools or that set of keys in my toolbox to go ahead and get to sharing more stories with people like you guys, my friends, who knows where we would be? Who knows where I would be? And so I don't think it's our job to figure out the correlation between, like what Ari just said, what do you do when you don't even take step one? I think our job is to do the best we can with what we have. And then at some point, trusting the people around us to hopefully give us a key of theirs so that we can further ourselves.
That resonates with me so much. Excuse me. That resonates with me so much because that was something that I struggled with for the longest time. And in the aspect of just feeling like I was worthy, right? Because I didn't always feel like I had, I didn't always feel like I had that safe space to share things that was going on in my life. So it caused me to bottle a lot of that stuff up, and a lot of the things that I was going through, it caused me to bottle it up. And to the point that I was almost one of them individuals that went down that path to almost committing suicide. And I had to understand in myself that that's not who I am, and I am here for a purpose. I am here for a reason. I'm worthy. I am love. I am a king. I am free. And once I realized that, I'm free. I'm not bound by the things that happened to me or bound by, my past or the things that happened to me as a child. I'm not bound by that. I can live my life free. That caused me to actually release. And I started to understand that, being able to share your emotions, being able to show your emotions, that is true strength. That's really what it comes down to. But it took a while. It took me going through life to even be able to put that in my toolbox. You know what I'm saying? So
I have a question. As for like, you're saying like you're worthy and all this. Like, yeah. So when I got myself, I'm not gonna say ass out, because I still have that little voice in my head sometimes. I be clucking. But I had a sister who passed away because she was bisexual, but at the time she committed suicide because she was bisexual. She was being bullied, but at the time it's 2013, and she was in like middle school, and kids were really, really, really mean. And when we had seen like what she had said, it was so like right now type of thing. Like, I don't know, like if I could now, like the life that she would be living right now, opposed to what she was living then is so much different. And that's like, I feel like that's one of the things that made me stop like being suicidal or whatever, because it was like, oh, like there's like so much hope. But it's like, it don't be, because I know that for myself, it's like I know that for a fact, so it just has to be true, if that makes sense. It's not, I don't get no comfort from it how you're supposed to, if that makes sense. Like when I'm having them thoughts, I'm like, that's just not logical, so stop. Like, you feel me? Like, but there's no comfort, so I don't feel like there's no healing, because it's like, it's not, oh, you shouldn't be feeling like this. It's not logical to be feeling that way, so stop feeling that way. And it's like, it doesn't translate. Yeah, so I don't understand how.
And thank you for saying that, because it honestly took a while, because for a while I had that stuff on my board. You know, I'm worthy, I'm a king, I'm free. Like, I had this stuff on my board, but I wasn't really internalizing it. It took me actually building habits in my life that aligned with that freedom, that aligned with me feeling worthy, doing things in my life that made me feel that validated me being able to say like, hey, I'm worthy, I'm here to do something, right? That validated that feeling. So when I was able to put those actions in my life, then those actions align with that feeling of me being worthy. So I can stand here with a little pride in my chest and say, hey, you know, I'm here to do something. Yeah. But it took me knowing that.
I think we got to do a better job at giving each other our flowers while we're still here, because like I said, we're losing too many people to the streets, to the substances. And I think there's a bigger picture. The long game is long, y'all, but it's worth it.
It is.
It's so worth it. Do y'all feel good?
Come on.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel full. So may your cup forever overflow. May you continue hustling and striving. And I think that, you know, somewhere along the road, there's some more keys for people to collect. Can we insert the Mario? Yes. Pick your coins up. Pick your keys up. If you like what you've heard, please head over to hustlestrive.com to collect your keys.
Yes.